What is going on, everybody? I know you're so used to hearing Gina talk first, but no, we're switching it up a little bit today. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Jordan Watkins.
And I'm GinaReppinDaBay.
And of course, as always, if Gina's around, that means that she is repping her Bay Area teams. And tonight, I know usually we've been doing a lot of Niners. Tonight, we are doing the Golden State Warriors and the NBA in general. But first, Gina, I mean, if we're going to talk about Warriors, can we talk about how crazy that game was last night? I mean,
Oh,
double overtime. Clay goes for 54. Kevon Looney, game winner, 14 and 21. That game had a little bit of everything in it.
I was, so excited to see Kevon Looney kind of play the, sort of hero at the end, buzzer beater. Because at first I was sort of like, what's JP doing, at the end of their regulation? And then I thought, okay, Kevon's going up for how many rebounds now? He was at 17, and I thought, okay, this is like playoff basketball here, because what we saw him going for, what he had 22 in the Western Conference Finals. Was that against the Mavs?
I think he did that in the matchup against the Grizzlies. So I
the
think
Grizzlies,
second
right?
round matchup. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, so that was that was really exciting. So I was just so proud of him.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think the cool thing for me, whether it was last night, the majority of this season, even last year, the appreciation that everybody has for Kevon Looney. And because before, it is understandable, you're on a team where it's Steph and Clay and Draymond, and at times Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala, all these big names, you can kind of fall through the cracks. But I think that especially when it was that one COVID year where, not the bubble, but the year after, where they're playing in arenas, maybe there weren't fans there, and there was one point in the year where Kevon Looney got hurt,
Right.
and it was just helter skelter. Obviously, that's James Wiseman's first year, so you're working with the rookie and all these things, and all of a sudden, when Kevon Looney gets back to the Warriors, all right, no, now this looks a little different. He understands these dribble handoffs, where to set the screen, obviously body position for all these rebounds. And he's just carried it from there. I mean, now all of a sudden he's an Iron Man. When he, in the beginning part of his year, he had all these hip injuries he had to deal with. He's playing in all these consecutive games. And yeah, the fact that he got to have a putback for the game winner last night was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just, thought, okay, at the buzzer. And then I remember last year, Steph had one of those buzzer beaters walk off, and I thought, we're having a walk off, and to see, I know Jordan Poole is from Milwaukee as well. And so, of course, he wanted to be the first one to congratulate him. And so I thought, oh, this is so, like just on. Like it was like honorary or whatever the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and I have to be transparent. I know everyone knows that I work for the Warriors, so be honest. Last night, I took the night off. I went on a date night to the game with my girlfriend, but I wanted to go as a fan because, again, I'm from Atlanta, so I want to pull for the Hawks, and it was funny. I think any other team that they lose to in that fashion, I'm still mad about it today. But even when Looney got the putback, I just kind of sat there and smiled. Like, I didn't move. I just sat there and smiled. I was like, you know what? Kevon Looney just got a putback for the win against. I can't be mad. No, I've been calling him the nickname Aloon Jawan.
I love it. Yes, I think
like
I heard that last season or
probably, but yeah, I've been doing it for a while because whenever he has those big games, you got to give him love for it. So no, it was just such a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, trying to get Dan in here. I think he's looking for the link, and I'm like, log in. So with Trae Young, he looked a little upset towards the end. I was worried at first going into overtime. They were coming up like 4, 5, and then 6 points almost. And I thought, okay, here we go. We're about to, lose in overtime. And then I turned around and I looked and I went, wait a second. Here we go. Now we're catching up. Right. But I was really impressed with Dante DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo, yep.
He
White
had,
Dante.
yeah, he had himself a nice little clincher there. And but let's also talk about Clay.
Yes.
54 points, his biggest, sort of comeback, but points, career points since coming off the injury, the 2 years off. And his third, or how many 50-point games of his career?
It's either third or fourth, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was great to see. And I was reading something about the other day. He was having this conversation with Ron Adams, but also himself. The one with Ron Adams, who of course is an assistant coach for the Warriors. They're talking about how Clay, since he's been back, he had been drifting a bit on the shots, right? It wasn't just straight up and down, up and down. He'd float a little bit. And so he's been working on that. And you could see, you've seen it the last couple of games, because I know obviously everyone's talking about the 54, but
Yeah.
the game before that, I want to say he had 31 or 32. So he's been trending this way for a while now. And it's the same story too in that previous game. Because he had a hot start against the Hawks in that first quarter. He did the same thing the game before too. Also, he talked about the conversations that he's had with himself. And I think that while as a community, whether sports community or just as a whole, we've been focusing so much more on mental health and how important it is. I wanted to highlight what Clay said he was talking to about himself, where he said he was trying. It's so hard to prove to everybody that I'm back. I'm still as good as I was before. I'm still Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And he was forcing it. Now he said
Right.
he's a lot more relaxed. He's a lot more settled, and he's playing basketball. And I think even Draymond said it after the game, where it's like, well, that approach, the second approach, is what made Klay Thompson so great from the get-go. So we just had to get back to that. And now that he's doing it again, any athlete that's been out for a long extended period of time, to see someone come back from an injury and have games the way he's had, you gotta love it. You really have to, unless you're mental.
Exactly. And absolutely, yeah. I thought there were some worries, he got ripped apart by, I guess, trolls or people, certain media members. There were some worries that people had, I guess, legit people, is he forcing his shots? And I even thought that too, but there was, I just thought he just needs to take his time, and of course it's going to come. And it did come. And I also want to talk to you about what specifically you think, what's your opinion on how, Clay's doing, and Jordan Poole and the rest of the game, the bench, especially how they're getting along with Steph and Wiggins.
Yeah, I honestly, this has been the most fun part of it for me to see. So obviously, I don't say that to say, it's a good. I don't want to preface this by saying it's a good thing Steph got hurt.
Right.
That's never the case.
Right.
But I think about the Warriors and how they look to start off the year, and I'm just talking about on the bench. Now, for anyone who's watched the Warriors for the last decade, they love to have fun. It just looks like they're having fun playing basketball. And whether that's the bench celebrations, right? Kent Bazemore was known by so many Warriors fans, not for what he did on the court, but how he led celebrations on the bench. And I think this year, and of course, there could be a lot of reasons for it, right? I know we had the stuff that happened right before the season, things of that nature, but it wasn't the same. There's some new faces that are there. There are people who might be stressed out, just trying to save their own spot in the league, right? With all the young guys that they have. So it wasn't like that. But one thing I've noticed is that now that Steph has been on the bench, Steph is going to be your number one cheerleader. And I think it's just contagious. So now that everyone sees him, even though he's not playing, he's on the bench. He's running around when Clay makes a big three or when DiVincenzo makes a three. He's the first person out there celebrating. There's so many times during timeouts, the Warriors get a big bucket. They'll show the replay of the play, and then they'll show Steph's reaction, and it gets like a big push from the Chase Center crowd. they love seeing that energy, that emotion, that fun. You feed off of it. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big things about it is they you see your leader doing it, this top 10 player ever, certified first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like, okay, yeah, if he can have fun like this and enjoy it, what excuse do I have? And that's one thing I've noticed the last couple of games from the bench. And I think when you celebrate your teammates like that, it plays over into what happens on the court too. And I think that's one thing I've really noticed lately.
Exactly. And even just the new guys that came over, and the two-way contract players, Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome, everybody has said, Steph is such a humble guy. He doesn't, act like the star. He talks to us. He doesn't act like he's better than everybody. And so him celebrating like he does, and even for Clay, I mean, he doesn't care if Clay makes breaks like the record for most threes in a game, or something
Right.
like that, like he did a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, Steph being the biggest cheerleader, it just gives you that much more, I think, excitement to do well, to do better, having
Exactly.
him as your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, again, if one of the best players to ever play the game can be this excited and have this much fun, what excuse do you have not to do the same thing?
Right.
And I think that's the thing about it. And Anthony Lamb, because I know you brought him up, he was even saying that after the game last night. He's like, the culture around here, they allow you to be your own character, which is something that I don't think is commonplace in a lot of locker rooms, whether that's the NBA, NFL, you name it. It's not commonplace. And so it's just really contagious. And like I said, I mean, all professional sports, right? They're so hard. It is very hard to play. I know everyone loves to say, "Oh, we're playing a kid's game. It's a kid's game." Listen, I don't know many kids that are running 3 or 4 miles in a game, shooting 30 feet, trying to cross over somebody and dunk 40 inches on somebody's head, okay? But the thing for me is all pro sports, they're so hard to do that if you're not having fun with it, you don't need to do it. Um, and,
Right.
and that's always you always hear that people say that, towards the end of their careers, right? It's like, those meetings weren't going to meetings weren't fun anymore. Practice wasn't fun anymore. So no, you got to have fun while doing it, and it's good to see the Warriors getting back to that fun style again.
Right. And it was so gosh, it was worrisome in the beginning. They, from the jump, they go and get their rings against the Lakers. They win. Everything's looking, pretty decent. And then all of a sudden, doesn't look so decent, doesn't look so good. In fact, it looks pretty bad. And then the bench looked disconnected. Hey, are we going to get any points off the bench? And the road games, atrocious.
Yes,
Um,
still need to clean that up.
Still need to clean that up. And now we have the best home record in the whole league. And we, having that to, put our pride on is something that, is like kind of like this momentum that, they could carry with and, just hold on to. And I love that, because even the guys that, don't have that championship DNA, can go and yes, wise in the chat.
I
What's up?
agree.
Our
Telling
co-host.
guys,
Now let's have some fun on the road. Yes, and so build on that for sure. Because going back to what we were saying with, not having Steph and Wiggs, kind of like this blessing in disguise. You have to have chemistry, build chemistry, and know what to do without Steph, without Wiggs, because we had no defense. Like,
right.
it was atrocious. And now you see Dante stepping up. I mean, he had a couple of crucial ones towards the end of the game, there was steals, there was, some good defensive moves, and then got Draymond hitting a block. You got Kaminga, key. They were key moves and really, really stopped teams. So that's going to be super important for when like Steph comes back. And then you're going to have to reacclimate when Steph and Wiggs come back, because you got Wiggs, who's our best defensive player on the team. Well, Wiggs and Draymond, of course.
Right. Well,
You
in
got
terms
to
of
say
like,
Draymond is, but
right, definitely.
he's also the facilitator too. So you got Wiggs being our best two-way player, really. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, you hit the nail on the head. And the way I look at it though is, when in doubt, the Warrior fans, you remember the tweet? I forget what year it was. Maybe it was like 2009. It was like when Steph first came into the league, and it didn't start off so hot, but he had this tweet, and so far he has not been wrong about it. If one thing that we will do, we will figure this out. And every single
yeah,
time he's done it, right?
yeah,
Maybe even again after the COVID season with no fans, they got knocked out in the playing rounds in Memphis. Steph during the post game press conference, you don't want to see us next year. What happens? They won the NBA championship. Like usually, when what he says, like it does actually work out and it happens. So again, it was, when you look at it, you had a lot of inexperienced players, some other players that even if they do have experience, they're coming in, they're new outside of that core that the Warriors have. So you just have a lot of people trying to figure out what their spot in their place is. And yeah, I think that I can think of a lot of players that it's harder to reincorporate into a system and into a game plan than Steph Curry. Well, first off, he is the game plan. You go off of him, but he makes it easy for everybody else when he's back. So I'm not too worried
right.
about that. And again, obviously, we'll see when Wiggins gets back, your perimeter defense automatically gets better. So I wasn't too worried even when they were going through that rut. And when it's time for Steph and Wiggins to be back, which I think Andrew's coming back tomorrow in the game against Detroit, I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. And they always find a way. What I wanted to ask you, what do you think about how the coaching staff is doing? I mean, I know Steve gets a lot of crap about, from fans, from trolls,
Sure.
fans, whatever. But now that we don't have Mike Brown,
Yes.
and he's doing fairly well over there on the Kings, but he was the defensive mind, so to speak, with us, and that was where we were sort of lacking in the towards the end of 2022. How do you think coaching staff is doing right now?
Well, again, it's a learning process for them too. I think there's still a lot of people over there on that staff that, again, they have a lot of postseason playoff success. And just like it takes time for coaches, I mean, for players to ingratiate together and understand the system, sometimes it takes coaches time to understand how they want to work it out. I mean, still, I don't think they know what they want to do with some of the young guys, right? So I know Wiseman,
Right.
he was hurt. He sprained his ankle in shoot around before a few games ago. But what exactly is your plan with him? Moses Moody, we've seen his minutes kind of already go up and down a
Right.
good bit. Kuminga, earlier in the year didn't play much. Then all of a sudden he's shown to be this, potential defensive stalwart that he's coming around. So they're still just trying to figure everybody out. I would say, I mean, I would give them, if I had to do a letter grade, I'd say maybe like, B minus. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that, I can't give them an A because it's not like, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Why? It's like they're still inconsistent because they don't know what they want to do with them yet.
Right.
And I'm hoping that even some of the games that Wiseman's played as of late, I mean, we saw him put up 30 in Brooklyn, and then the next game he didn't score, but I thought just by the way he played, it's like this is one of the better games that James Wiseman's played in terms of being in the right spots and rebounding, all those other things that don't equate to points.
Yeah.
So when he's back, they still have to figure that all out. But yeah, I'll do like lower end B levels because I think we're starting to see with this 5-game winning streak without one of, if not the best player in the league, they're still putting things together to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I mean, again, it's still really early. I always figure around maybe all-star break is kind of when you see really what the team looks like, because
Definitely.
then after that is kind of when you start figuring out, okay, look, here's who we're going to really play in the playoffs. um, you start to see teams either fall off or really like, okay, these teams are going to be the ones we're going to play. Um, that start really seeding up or down.
Plus, you got to remember too. Like I know, obviously, our good friend Bonte, he on the pre-post game shows, they have the Bonte panic meter, right?
Yes.
And I think it's hilarious. But the thing for me, I always say, I mean, even just look down. I know this is a basketball show today, but look down in Santa Clara. It's been 2 years in a row now. Kind of that early midpoint of the season, the 49ers are either under 500, right at 500. Things aren't looking right. This person's hurt, that person's hurt.
Yeah.
And then they turn it on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes it just takes time. But I can't believe I just complimented the 49ers.
A Falcons fan complimenting the Niners?
I just lost my train of thought now. I'm so out of it. But no, I mean, again, it just takes time to figure things out. But then
Yeah.
once they do, you click with it and then you get rolling.
Right, totally. Yeah, and what do you think about because another defensive person that we haven't seen all season is
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, it's hard to say. 'Cause the thing for me is I just don't know. I knew Wise would love that the 49ers compliment part. I just knew it. But uh I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's at this point now where because even last year, remember he would get in, play a couple games, and then be right back out. Like he has a lot
Yeah.
of wear and tear on his body too, right? He's
Right.
playing all those finals and XYZ.
And
So
rightfully so. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, rightfully
yeah,
so. So I feel like
right.
even when he's back, I mean, the biggest thing he can do is what he's doing now. He's being a leader and a
Yeah.
mentor to some of those young guys, helping them out.
Mhm.
I mean, we talk about the athleticism of Jonathan Kuminga. Well, people remember when Andre Iguodala first got in the league in those first couple of years with the Warriors, he was also a pretty freak of nature athlete too.
Mhm.
So he can, he knows how to figure that out. It's either him or Anthony Davis.
Sure.
But you're right there with it. But so no, he knows how to use athleticism to get to the right spots, get to the right places. So now it's also about how do I think the game, right? What's this coming? What's that's coming? That's going to be where his biggest impact's going to come in. Whenever he does start seeing minutes or not.
For sure. Um, is there anything in particular with the young guys that because I kind of wanted to talk about the young guys that
Yeah.
not so much Kaminga and ooh, look who we have
wow.
here.
What's up, everybody?
See,
Hey, Rod.
this is what happens when I start talking about the 49ers and being nice about them. Like people just start popping out of nowhere like a wild Pokemon. Like this is what happens. This is what happens. Wild Rod has appeared.
He just gave the 49ers a compliment, Rod.
You pop up.
Repeat it.
No.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Cooling.
Yes, we got another coach. We thought you were Dan for a second there, and then boop, it's Rod Cali in the house.
Yeah, I'm up here messing around. I got home a little early, and I said, you know what? Why not get on?
Nice. Yeah, hell yeah. Wise says Dre's value for Andre Iguodala for itself during the green pool and I'm sure that calming leadership helped mend fences. Indeed.
No, absolutely. Because I mean, even thinking back to the a few years ago, I believe it was Andre Iguodala who came out and said, "If only you knew all the things that we've had to deal with in this locker room." And this was obviously back when Kevin Durant was there, and everyone thought that, all right, well, the Warriors are just going to win the finals every year. Like it's so easy. And it was Iguodala who came and said, "If only you knew." So no, I think that's absolutely a very good, valid point in that regard. Of there's so many things that pop up during the course of a year, on the court, off the court, that leadership is so huge, right? Remember him coaching up Andrew Wiggins in the finals last year, pulling him over, giving them the tidbits, the tips and points, and think about how good Andrew Wiggins was in that final series. And Andre Iguodala was a big part of that.
Absolutely. Who else? Oh, what do you think? Because we were talking about maybe like Moody not getting. Wise was talking about like Moody's time kind of fluctuated, and but like I've seen like let's talk about like when you look across the league and you see like rookies coming in for different teams, like for example, teams that need have greater need for rookies like Paulo Banchero and things like that. And then we're on that split timetable, right? We've got Steph, Clay, Dre, and I guess if you want to say Andre, even though he hasn't played, and even Looney, right? And then we have Kuminga, Wiseman, Moody, and now we've got younger guys too with PBJ and Rollins. Yeah, it's like, what do you see about the timeline, like split timelines like that? Can it work? Because everyone's talking about trade Wiseman, trade Kuminga.
Right. Well, I think the way it looks for me is even though you have the two timelines, there's still one main timeline. And that's what the Warriors are all about. That's what their leadership group's about, is about winning and doing it now. And so, but the thing for me again is if that's going to happen with that young group, they have to get reps. And because it's not even just a young group, this is a very even basketball young group. Yeah, right? We know about Wiseman and his situation, not being able to even play that whole season in Memphis. Kuminga is so young and started playing basketball a little bit later. So it's not even just that they're young. I mean, like, for example, you brought up Paolo Banchero. We had a chance to see what he was for a whole season at Duke. Like, we all knew by the time he gets to the league, he is going to be a problem. Right. And that's what he's doing. Also, he's on a team that is not good, right? Like, that's usually where you get those kind of players. It's because you're drafting first, you're drafting second, third, because your team isn't good. So you can throw those young guys out there.
He starts and he's getting all those 48 minutes, and
it's go ahead and you're gonna learn trial by fire. Now I have to say I understand the Warriors. They Wiseman being second on a team that had championship aspirations like that doesn't happen often. So it's a little bit different, but again, they'll have to find a way to keep incorporating them into rotations, and you can't pull them after making one mistake. I remember even my playing days, there were times where I was nervous to mess up because I was like, well, if I mess up, I'm coming out, and it messes with you. So they gotta let them go through some of these mistakes and some of these situations. But I mean, I think they can work it out. I mean, again, like I said, you see Kuminga, he finally gets some consistent time, and he's a big asset, especially defensively, which is, I think he had to mature a little bit to understand I don't have to get a bucket on this team. I can do these little things. That's okay, but it takes time.
Right.
You know what's funny? I'm on the opposite team of you guys this time, so I get to finally ask you guys questions.
Yeah.
So who is the person that leaked the fight video?
That's a good question.
We'd like to know.
Yeah. I have no idea. It's funny because everyone, of course, my friends, they were joking when we texted me. It's like, all right, how much the TMZ pay you? I said, it wasn't me. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. I like my job. It wasn't me.
Right.
There's a picture of Jordan like this.
right. Yeah,
in black and white.
Exactly. I never had
freeze frame. Freeze frame like this.
Exactly.
Man. Yeah. And then come to find out they had the same.
He throws up with the Rolex shit.
Yeah. But what's funny is because I think yesterday I finally saw that they have their lockers right next to each other. I was like,
yeah,
how awkward is that? You know what I'm saying? I get slept by the guy who sits right next to me
literally every day.
No, he got knocked the fuck out.
That's my point. Like,
right.
It wasn't no Chris Rock. flap. It was
Yeah, we
not
need to
the
be
flap.
across from each other. It's no way I can be right next to him and
Well, who knows? I
better
mean,
than me.
maybe the fact that they are next to each other has helped even also accelerate how the relation. I don't even want to say is fixed, because I don't think it'll ever be
Yeah.
fixed, but it's at least working wise.
Yeah.
It's on a good level working wise. So maybe that's a part of it too.
Why is you
And
cold? Okay, I have an Android, so
you
you
know
know
what?
what?
Thanks, Wise. You're right. I agree. I agree. I'm off the hook.
Fact.
I'm off the hook.
Ooh wee. Yikes.
Well, I wasn't at Chase that day.
I wasn't either. I have an
Oh
alibi.
God.
What seed do you guys not seed? What does it take now that you guys have been on the run that you've been on? How does Steve Kerr continue to motivate this team?
I like that question. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
so you
now
talk about
I can ask y'all questions.
Yeah,
This
I
is
like
fun.
it.
I like
Yeah.
this.
it's a good
See,
question. I
this
mean,
is my
right,
sport, so I can talk this for
there
real,
you
for
go.
real. I mean,
No,
all
for
right.
sure. No, I mean, and I guess this is where the two timelines thing comes in, because there's two different motivations. I think for
Absolutely.
that older group, it's we only have X amount of years left, right? Draymond, I think this is his last year. Clay's contract expires next year. Now, of course, we'll see what happens, who they re-sign, how long, and all that stuff. But let's keep stacking this all together while we still can. And then the young guys, you just had a taste of success, and you get a little taste, you want more. I remember for me in my Stanford days when I redshirted my freshman year, but we won the Pac-12 championship. We beat UCLA in that, and then beat Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. And so seeing all the older guys go through it, it's like, man, this is dope. Like, I want to be part of more of this. So
Yeah.
I think that's the thing internally. But then, yeah, in terms of Steve Kerr, I mean, the best way I can do it, or I'd say he'd do it, is, again, you don't have to. Just watch how your leaders work. That's your motivation, right? You see
Mm.
Steph, again, one of the better players ever, how hard he works. Clay, how hard he's been working to get back from this injury and get back to that consistent standpoint. Draymond, as undersized as he is, it doesn't matter if he has a guard a center or guard a point guard in the same possession. He finds a way to make it work. I think that's the motivation, for a coach. You kind of can say, I'm put my hands off and let the team motivate the team. Yeah, it's Rose Bowl. If you can do it, highly
Hey,
recommend.
Wise, it's in my backyard. That's my city. Legit, that's my city. So
That's Adina.
just holla at me. I can get you in the Rose Bowl.
I love it.
Yeah, I would say to answer that question, Rod, for me, I would say, Steve Kerr is so like uplifting in the way that he doesn't it's funny because he came under he was coached under Phil Jackson and Pop, right? And he doesn't have that demeanor of like yelling. Uh he's so like, it's okay, it's all right, like just come on, like come back to the bench. And he's he has that. I heard this from Festus Ezeli on the Warriors pregame show, where he's like, when I came on, Steve Kerr was like, you have to focus on your life first. Like life comes first and then basketball. Like if you're not in life, like don't be here, kind of thing. And so I thought, that's uplifting. Like that's motivation. You gotta be okay, like mentally, and everything. Like if that doesn't motivate you to come to work, I don't know what will. And my
Right.
job before that, I worked out for like 18 years, certainly didn't treat me like that.
Right.
This I mean is like, all self-propelled what we're doing now. Like I'm on time usually. Like I mean, I think I am mostly I think I am on time for this, and it's like I don't I look forward to it because I feel like this is, I don't know, we motivate each other. So yeah, I feel like that's the best that he can do for these kids. And if they don't take it seriously, that's on them.
What's Sacramento's coach's name?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. I think he's truly missed on you guys' bench
Definitely.
defensively. You know, as a
That's what we were
defensive
talking
coach.
about earlier.
Oh, see, I didn't even
I
see. I didn't
know.
even know that. That's crazy. See,
Yeah.
I think you guys are missing him a lot, because it shows, especially on the road. It shows with you guys, like to keep that tenacity, to keep that hunger. It's hard when you're a dynasty and you have to keep that dynasty, type criteria to continue on to win and produce. Where you guys are right now and everything. I think this is you guys' decade right now. So it's like you
Mhm.
guys take advantage of it to the fullest because of all you know, the winning that you guys are doing right now. But now it comes into the fold where coaches go, now who steps in and takes over and does what he did, what he brought to the table. That's the hardest part of it all because, like we always say, defense wins championships.
Mhm.
So, you know, granted, you guys are missing Curry right now. Um, Huge piece, obviously. The league is missing him.
Yeah.
So once you guys get him back, then it's like, okay, you guys will really be on a roll. But then now you got to look at chemistry as far as what was coming off the bench, what was working, what was happening, because your six man was your six man. Now he's a starter. So now he has to go back to the bench. How would his mind go with that again? Would he be okay with it? A lot of different nuances, when people accept their roles. And that's the thing in basketball. It's like when you're growing up as a kid, everybody, I want to score, I want to score. But they don't teach people how to play your role. And that's the part that you guys, the Warriors, have right now is accepting their role. Obviously, you
Mhm.
guys won the championship. So it makes sense that everybody, hey, this is the role, accept that role. Let's make it happen and let's win. So
No,
that's what you
that's
guys
Ne-
are doing.
next man up.
yeah. No, I mean it's a great point. I think part of that too is also understanding the whole cliche of hunter versus hunted. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, you got these guys because of the dominance the Warriors had coming up to last year. You're most likely going to be hunted, but they've experienced that already. This is
right.
Jordan Poole's first time experience being someone that's part of the hunted. This is Kaminga's first time. Wiseman, all those young guys, they're experiencing that for the first time. And so, sometimes with that, there is that pressure of, I know they're all coming to get us. I need to do this extra or that extra or whatever the case may be. So that's another part of it too of, like I guess even for example, Rod, I know you're a USC guy. I think before, Stanford, we had our decade of being, really good. I don't think
Right.
USC fans were getting up to watch USC play Stanford. They're probably thinking, all right, let me just make sure they cover. And I'm
Exactly.
putting in, the over or the under. But all of a
Right.
sudden, Stanford comes in, beats you a couple of times. They win the Pac-12 a couple of times. It's like, no, wait a minute. This means a little bit more. I
Absolutely.
actually I'm looking forward to this game now. And that's what those young guys, they had to understand that too, but also to stay within themselves while they're playing those games.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Wiggins is, to me, from you guys' team, outside of Curry, obviously, Wiggins is the key. Defensively, I mean, he did it to Tatum last year in the finals. So
Mhm.
you can put him on whoever, the best. Well, now this is a league where it's your best five players. It's not even everybody plays their position anymore.
Yeah,
So you can put Wiggins on anyone
Mhm.
and don't have to worry about him. The rest of you guys is going to do your work. But the point and the plus behind it is Wiggins actually scores.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
that's the part that helps you guys even that much more because that's the role that he takes. That's why, like you said, Andre Iguodala being in his ear like that, letting him know, like, yo, that's yours. You need to do that. You need to be here. You need to be there. Outside of what Curry did, which was exceptional in every aspect, Wiggins should have been, the MVP on top of that too, because it's just what he presented on defense alone. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I were just talking about Wiggins too earlier.
let me
Um,
shut up.
I know. No, I love it because we're all on the same page. This is great. It's perfect.
Oh, that's
I
why
love
everyone
it.
needs to hit that like and subscribe button.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
You see it?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Let me put it back up. We were talking about how it's. I mean, he's just one of the most effective two-way players. And yeah, we didn't say about how you put him on any player, and we saw him against Luca, one of the most dominant young players, and not just young, dominant player period in the league right now. Um, Up there with records with Wilt Chamberlain. So I mean, that masterful dunk over Luca in the Western Conference Finals. Like, I mean, come on, it's
That was
just
beautiful.
oh, yeah, I want to get that picture and frame it and put it in my room. In fact, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, that might have to be my next one. I already have one from John Collins dunked on Embiid 2 years ago. That's up on my wall. So now I got to get a Warriors one too.
Yeah. I always get stuff for my son, so he has stuff hung. The only thing I have, because everything I literally give to my son, but I'm like, I need something of my own. So I have a Steph bobblehead, and it's a functioning one. It's one where it's a dial, and you put how many 3-pointers he has. Every time he gets one, you roll it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's what I'm like. That's actually pretty dope.
And so they were giving out 2 different ones that night. And so the one that my son got is the one with Wilt Chamberlain. So Wilt has his 100-point paper,
Right, paper.
and then Steph has his 17,000 whatever points franchise record. Yeah.
I remember I was like 12 years old. I remember going to the Mount Sac relays back when I ran track, and I actually met Wilt Chamberlain before he died.
Yeah.
He was a giant, but he was real cool though. Talked with us for about 30 minutes and everything. Sat down. Matter of fact, he bought us all like sodas and candy and all that junk. Like I had a different. I've always had a different respect for Wilt Chamberlain, so he sticks out with me. Real dope dude. Rest in peace to him, man.
Absolutely. It's funny because like since you shared a Wilt story, we all know what his reputation was.
Absolutely.
So back, I think my mom, she was in college. This is when it was. So back in Atlanta, and Wilt was there. Ran into a group of like her, some of her friends, whatnot, and invited him. I think she said it was like to a party later, something like that. So anyway, fast forward, she gets back to the dorm. She's talking to her dad, my grandpa. May he also rest in peace. And she's telling him like, "Oh, I got invited." Yada yada yada. She said, "My grandpa threatened, I will get in this car right now. You are not going into that party."
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Different man right there, boy.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a different dude, boy. Like, hold up, my man. Like, wait, you hanging out with who?
That was
tonight.
Nope.
Not tonight. Not having that tonight. Ooh, I definitely understand it.
Wow. So who would be, let's take a look at the Western Conference opponents. Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans come to mind. And we all know what John Morant said, that he's not worried about anyone in the West. And we quickly shut him up. And of course, the Suns shut him up too. Booker-less Suns. Who's also out with an injury for a while. But yeah, it's pretty tight in the West, like as far as there's with Kawhi and Paul George. Now, I mean, welcome back, Kawhi. You know what I mean? What do you guys think best right now?
Denver's a team to watch. Jokic. I'm sorry. Jokic is a
he
huge
three-time MVP?
Only
Why
reason
not?
why I would
Way
say
is
no
good.
because of voter fatigue. That's why.
That might be it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
might be it.
I mean, this West, I mean, because I'm looking at the standings. Not even that. It's the Warriors are in ninth right now. They're 4.5 out of first place, and it literally could be one day of basketball. Tomorrow they
Right.
could be fifth because the Kings are in the fifth spot, tied with the Clippers, and they're a half game above the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, and I know this is always hard to say, but we'll see how health works for all these teams. I mean, we saw Memphis; it took them a long time to be whole because Desmond Bain was out. Zion just went out again today with a hamstring injury.
Oh my God.
I know, so he's going to be out for a while. You already talked about Devin Booker. I think Karl Anthony Towns on Minnesota, who's they're outside the play-in right now, but he's been out. We know about the Lakers injuries, right? Anthony Davis has been hurt with his foot. LeBron has left ankle soreness. So that's the biggest part about it is, well, which team is going to have their most full unit when it matters, and when they're out, who is the most capable of just holding the fort, right?
Yeah.
Because I think right now what we
Yeah.
see with the Pelicans, right? The way CJ McCollum's been balling for them lately,
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden you get him out there with Brandon Ingram and with Zion, like that's dangerous. But
Mm-hmm.
who knows? And that's been the unfortunate issue with Zion so far, is that he hasn't been able to stay on the floor. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the question is, who would you trust for any big injury? But because of injury, who do you trust more? That if someone or star players that go down for a period of time, who can hold fort the best? That's the biggest question.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you see what Giannis just did?
What
55?
again?
Put a
Oh
55
my
tonight.
God.
Like, see, this is what I don't like about the NBA right now. Is like scoring is just like nobody plays defense at all. Like, I understand basketball, but now it's just a mere fact that rules definitely show that anybody can. It's a what is it like? It's like the what is it? El Matador.
Mm-hmm.
They just lay everybody to let them get whatever type of shot that they want, because I swear it makes no sense for somebody to continue like 71 one night and then who else? Somebody else. Yeah, somebody else
Right.
had another dominant game. Is what LeBron had 43 or something last
47
night.
in Atlanta, and then at 43 the game after.
Yeah. Now you got Giannis with 55 tonight. What was his name? PG.
Clay had
He
50
had 40
yesterday.
something else or 50. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like nobody's playing defense. And that's
Yeah, right? What
that's
happened to defense?
yeah, like that's frustrating to me now. Like,
I agree.
this is
Mhm.
getting out of hand now with scoring. Like, nah.
I mean,
Right.
that's.
Who
Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's the one thing that for a lot of people is why, if the Warriors, if for the most part they can stay somewhat healthy, you got to like their chances. Again, you have two players in that starting five that can guard for the most part 1 through 4, and then Draymond can also guard fives. And
Mhm.
then again, you have Kuminga, who again the last couple of weeks has looked pretty impressive on the defensive end. There aren't that many teams, not even just in the Western Conference, in the NBA, that you have guys with that many players with that much switchability. And then, of course, the big X factor, if Wiseman can understand his defensive rotations and responsibilities more, then you put a good shot blocker off the bench in that as well. That's a team that's going to play defense and commit to
Mhm.
defense like most don't. That's why Boston's so good. That's why Milwaukee can be so good. Most teams, again, they don't have that ability to defend like that. They also don't have the commitment to try to defend the way those teams do.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
like, you remember how back in the day there used to be people that actually played defense. Like you had your Bruce Bowens,
Tony Allen.
Yeah, your Tony Allens and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like, hey, you put him on there, he's fine with only getting 6 points a game, but he's giving you 2 to 3 steals, you know what I'm saying? Or, contested shots, something.
Right.
This is just a joke now. Like why I said, like 40, 50 point games is just the norm. There's no way I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? People
I
This
think
is what I
because
go on.
no, go.
No, because I was going to say one of your players, the guy
I
who
know.
revolutionized the game,
I
yeah, the
was
guy that
just
changed
gonna
the
say
game.
that.
Anytime you have Curry that walks into your gym and who can pretty much shoot from half court,
Hmm.
it changes everything. And
Yep.
then
Yes.
look who was the next player, Damian Lillard. He
I
started
was,
shooting
yep.
from back there as well. During
Great minds think
what was that?
alike.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like
What are you
it's
trying
just
to do
crazy
it?
when you see certain stuff like that. And it's just,
Hmm.
come on, man. Like
Yeah.
there are
I was
exceptions to
I
the
was gonna
rules,
take the words out of your
obviously.
mouth, Rod. I swear to God.
Yeah. It's like there's exceptions to the rules and certain things, but it's like, come on, everybody can't shoot from there
No.
and be
Right.
and be accurate and consistent like those guys are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's
Yeah.
one Steph Curry, not many. And that's the part. How difficult is that to teach a kid now who looks up to Steph Curry and you tell a kid, hey, stop shooting? Like I have a nephew, plays in New Mexico right now. He's 11 years old, and all of his teammates. We went to a couple of his games, and all of his teammates, they all shoot jump shots. Nobody goes to the rim, and I'm like,
Oh.
Well, you remember what, and he caught a lot of flack for saying it, but I understood what he was trying to say. Remember when Mark Jackson, he was saying that Steph Curry has ruined basketball, and I didn't understand it until I started coaching some too. And you go into the gym. The thing for me, even now, if I play, pickup or whatever, I'm gonna stand right by the basket, just work on form shots. Right, make 10 from a spot, maybe
yes,
move back a bit, shoot some free throws. Like you
absolutely.
move back like that. Kids go into the gym, they take a basketball. First thing they're going to try to do, go around the 3-point line, take a step back, and shoot a three, and then airball it by 5 feet, and then do it again. It's like, no,
Absolutely.
that's not what it is. That
Kids can't even make basic layups.
no,
They don't know how to make basic layups, but they'll walk right on the floor, ice cold, throwing up threes. And I'm
yeah.
like, where in the world? And
The crazy thing
I've
about
been
it
asked,
is,
go
the
on.
crazy thing about it is, like, even with the guys that we're talking about, in terms of guys like Stephen Curry, even he doesn't go into the gym ice cold and do that. If
Right.
anybody, like, if anyone who's tuning in, if you ever get a chance to go to a Warriors game, whether it's on the road, Chase Center, for most of shoot around or warm up, Steph doesn't even shoot. He's on the sideline getting loose, doing hip flexibility and mobility and all these different things on the sideline.
Yeah.
And then he'll go out there and start, doing stuff. But of course, this is already after they had to shoot around in the morning. And, maybe he went into the gym and worked out. I was just listening to Juan Toscano Anderson on the Buckets podcast talk about, how he saw Steph work and it's a whole time thing about getting to be that good. But of course, we see this finished product. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna go out there and do that too. No, you can't do that. It's not possible.
And
Right.
and if you learn from the jump, you start in, you work your way out.
There you go.
You don't work your way out and start in.
And then
That's
try to go in.
backwards. Yeah, like your arms need to loosen up. That's the whole point. You don't just start throwing 90-mile-an-hour pitches and work your way
No,
down.
no.
To 50, it doesn't make sense. You have to warm things up.
Mhm.
But these kids, I swear to you, you can tell them, hey, stop, go inside, work on these fundamentals. And on top of that, all you kids out there, everybody can't shoot.
Right.
Everybody
Preach.
can't shoot.
Preach.
Everybody can't dribble properly.
Oh God,
Learn
that's
your
true.
role.
Oh,
I hate
my
seeing big
yeah.
men who are kids who are 13 years old, 6'8", and he's shooting 3-pointers like he's Steph Curry. Get your big ass inside and pound the paint. There's no reason your big ass needs to be out here.
Preach.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Kids don't want me to be a coach, I swear. I mean, they would love it, but at the beginning, they would hate me. They would hate me. What are you ever doing this? You can't shoot. Learn this role.
That's
And that's the
what it
point.
was for me and my dad.
Once kids learn to accept the role, like that's what I think with these coaches out here, like teach kids roles. Don't have every kid because every kid just wants to play oh, pass him the ball, he can shoot. No, he sucks. Move him inside. Teach him that game. Show him that. Like, be honest with these kids. Stop.
Right.
And
But
then
even
wonder
with,
why you losing by 60.
right, but even with that, there are certain fundamentals that apply to every position on the floor. And
Absolutely.
you get down in a stance and shuffle your feet, right, in a defensive
Absolutely.
stance. I mean, even if you can't shoot the threes now, what's the one thing that people always say on the broadcast? Okay, yeah, his 3-point percentage isn't there, but we see his form at the line, and we see what his free throw numbers is, so he can grow into it. All right, like, so work on that. How good are you at the free throw line? Are you afraid to go to the free throw line because you aren't a good free throw shooter?
Right. Yeah.
All these different things where, some post work, footwork can apply to being a guard and all these other things. I mean, Sean Livingston, he carved out his own niche with the Warriors because he had good footwork on the block. It's not just a one cut mold in any sport, or especially in the NBA or basketball in general, not just the NBA of, okay, because you are a point guard, you have to do this. Because you are a shooting guard, you have to do this.
Right.
Work on the little things, and then when you grow from it. I mean, again, you talk about the best players to ever play. Everyone always said that about Michael Jordan, right? His technique and fundamentals, flawless. Tim Duncan, what was his nickname? Steph,
Fundamental.
Mr. Fundamental. Steph, you see how he hits off the glass when he goes on his floaters. He knows the right angle to go off of, the right touch. So it's more than just the three-pointers now. Yeah, he's great at it. And he's
There
also
you go.
great at a lot of other stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, he works all the way around on his game, especially offensively, like dribbling, passing. You know what I'm saying? Going inside, like you said, floaters. Like, that's a dangerous shot. Once you get that down, one of the best floaters, and I don't think a lot of kids know this, but if you look at back when he was at Ohio State to when he first got in the league, that was Mike Conley. Mike Conley Jr. had one of the best floaters I've ever seen. Like, it was literally automatic. Literally automatic. You know what I mean? So it's like, kids, find that niche and just, hey, perfect that. Perfect it. It's not going to hurt you. You can make a lot of money playing a role. Everybody's not Curry.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, once you can find that and figure that out and learn that role, telling you can be a dangerous person. Look at what Draymond is doing. Back to back to the Warriors. Draymond, when he first came in, Draymond had a pretty good jump shot. We notice he doesn't shoot that much now. Let's just be honest. Like, Draymond knows what he has around him because he knows his role. He doesn't have to do this anymore.
He put up 30 in a game 7. Did we forget that?
Exactly.
Against Cleveland.
Yeah, against Cleveland. Yeah.
He might have won Finals MVP that year had they won it because
he was
of how
definitely
he played
on his
7.
way.
Oh yeah. So
had he not gotten suspended,
right?
Had he not gotten suspended and called LeBron a bitch, I mean,
right?
Hey, so how much that should have went on behind that. Man, oh man, dang, I hate that. I hate seeing stuff like that.
I know. I hope some kids are listening. We're dropping knowledge we're dropping some nuggets for them right now.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, man. Kids, learn how to dribble. Every kid should learn how to dribble with a tennis ball or a racquetball. If you learn how to dribble with that, it's only going to get easier because the ball is getting bigger. Then it would be that much easier to dribble with a basketball.
Yeah.
Trust me on that.
And offhand layups too. Don't forget that one.
Absolutely. If you got a so-called weak arm, tie the other arm behind your hand, behind your back. Learn how to dribble with your other hand. Learn how to eat with your other hand. Then you'll learn that you can dribble both ways. Because trust me, a lot of guys, once they figure out that you can only go one way, I definitely force you the opposite way.
That's
Good
right.
luck. And then I'm gonna watch you get mad, and then you got to hear my mouth. Ooh, that's the worst.
Other part too with that, like Ross said, learn to eat with your other hand, because then you know how much easier it is to eat crab legs when you know how to use 2 hands to actually crack them open and eat them.
Yeah,
it's so much easier. Again, there's more knowledge. Well, I love crab legs,
man.
So do I. Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
seafood.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rod, I want to ask you. I mean, yeah, you were asking questions about our teams. Um, yeah, what do the Lakers have to do? I mean, obviously the key one is Anthony Davis has to stay healthy, but I mean, outside of that, what do they need to do? What they need to add? 'Cause, I mean, as great as LeBron is, you can't ask somebody 38 years old to keep up with this pace that he has now. That's not realistic.
Crazy as it may sound, and a lot of people may go against what I'm thinking. You got to find a way to get Kuzma back
Mm,
to the Lakers. Role players are, again, keep talking about that. Role players are key. And then also on top of that, I don't care if he is finding his way into the role. You literally, it's hard to get him off because of his contract, but I genuinely don't feel Russell Westbrook works on this team. He didn't work from the jump. He doesn't work now.
mm,
And I don't feel like, so what if they make the playoffs? You know what I mean? In Laker, with the Lakers, it's not about just making the
no,
playoffs. And chemistry wise, it doesn't work because if you have to play a half court game, you already know nobody's worried about Russell Westbrook on the perimeter.
right.
You don't have to pay attention to him like that. So he becomes different in there and you don't have to worry about it. Then sorry, but Patrick Beverly, you can go. I didn't understand the whole purpose of him being on the team. It didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense to
Um,
me either.
yeah, it just didn't make sense. And I for the life of me don't understand why he's here. But good old Rob Pelinka.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before too with Jordan Poole and with Draymond, right? Of certain things where the relationship it might not be the same as it once was, but you got to get back to it. Do you think it would have made more sense or at least fit a little better if he and Russ weren't on the same team? Now, I mean, it seems like they're okay, but again, after their history in the past,
Yeah.
right? Pat Bev tore Russ's meniscus, went back and almost kind of did the same play. You saw Russ reacted, all that back and forth, running around tricking y'all. Like, what do you think about that?
I think what happened in the past when it comes to that portion, see, when you don't, this is something in the background because I've played with certain players like this. I'm a trash talker. I get in your head, Patrick Beverly style. You hate me when I'm playing against you, but teammate wise, you love me. And I feel like that trajectory has changed with those two. So I think a lot of that, and whatever goes on behind closed doors, they're cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was a couple weeks ago or something like that. Even Patrick Beverly was like, "Wow, me and Westbrook just went to dinner
I
together."
tweeted about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of things, uncomfortable conversations, have been had between those two, chemistry wise, when they go away, road trips and stuff like that. Where I think a lot of things that they didn't know about each other that they arguably are probably the same in
Yeah.
a bunch of ways that they didn't even pay attention to. That it's like, damn, all this time we've been, fighting so much, we actually are arguably the same.
Right.
So they're both, looked at differently, misinterpreted, all that type of stuff. But one's a superstar, the other one has made it by his reputation,
Yeah.
his gritty reputation, I should
Yeah.
say.
Sure.
So I feel like I wish we would have gotten what's Big Teeth? He's in Indiana now.
Buddy Hield.
Thank you. Yeah, I really wish we would have got Buddy Hield. I think he would have really helped a lot. Because now that opens up the floor. you can count on his shot. You have to respect his shot. He doesn't always have to just shoot threes. He can put it on the floor, and give you a jump shot. I'd rather count on his jump shot more than Westbrook's jump shot.
Absolutely.
So that would have been different. If Turner would have came, Miles Turner would have came also with that. I think that would have helped too. So you would have had the rebounding. You would have took a little bit off of Anthony Davis. Considering what he's doing right now, it's productive. Well, before he got injured, which was sensational and everything like that. But that would open up a lot for him, and it would have helped him a lot. He wouldn't have to. I don't think he would have had to work as hard on defense like he has been. On top of that, it would have helped out LeBron as well.
Yep.
You could have rested him a lot more. Now you got to run LeBron into the mud. Now he has to average 40 something points just to be relevant,
to have a shot. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's too much, especially at 20. What's funny is he's in his 20th year, and look what he's averaging. Like that's insane. You should be looking at your 20th year. I'm expecting, if anything, I was like, 21, 22 points from LeBron, 8, 9 assists. Okay, I can get with that. 7, 6 rebounds, something like that. But 43 and 47, that's a lot. That's a lot. But
do it consistently.
There you go. Good luck. You know what I mean? That can't do it by yourself, and that's gonna get frustrating to him.
Absolutely.
And plus, the bench is trash. I'm an honest Laker fan now. I'm very honest with
That's
you.
good. I can't
I do.
stand
I love
Russell Westbrook.
I mean, it's like with me last night when I went to the game, even though I was telling Gina I took the game off so I could go just as a Hawks fan, support my home team. And it's the same thing, people want to hype them up for a lot of things and say, oh, it's this person's fault, that person's fault. I'm just like, look, I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's everybody. Right. You can fire Nate McMillan if you want, and I think they will, but they're still not going to be that good or as good as they're supposed to be because there's certain. I mean, we talked about defense last night. I mean, all right, you don't have Steph on the floor. Jordan Poole can be a good shooter, but he's down for the most part this year from outside the arc. Who's the one person on the floor you have to know to guard and be up on his stuff when he's outside the line? Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Why are you not getting up on Klay Thompson when he's getting these handoff threes? There's no switching.
Yeah.
They run a pick and roll with Klay. You have the post and drop coverage. Klay ain't gonna go by you. He's gonna pull up and knock it down. And that's not a coaching thing. That's because I'm willing to bet on a scouting report that says, "Hey, you see number 11? That boy can shoot. You might want to. So why aren't you up on?"
Yeah, it's facts.
And the way he was playing and how smooth, like I think people underestimate how. This is the part that I love about Draymond and how unselfish he is that he works to get a teammate that he knows that can shoot his ass off. Like, yo, that is something, working in a team environment, knowing what you have around you, the pieces that fit. And Draymond understands that, hey, as long as I got these two, the greatest shooters of all time with me, the greatest shooter of all time, maybe arguably the second greatest shooter of all time. Granted, Klay is very streaky.
Sure.
But you still can't discount his jump shot. Don't disrespect it. Like, do not do that, because
not at all.
54 will get hung on you real quick. 37 and a quarter will get hung on you real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you just have to be honest. Like, this he knows the game. Once the mental part came back after, you tear your knee and your Achilles. Once your mental comes back, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
And so for him to grasp that part and know that he's gotten that in, good luck. Good luck.
Yep.
That's it. Oh yeah, we gotta do basketball more often. This
I know. I love this.
And just for the viewers, all this is off my dome. Like I love basketball. So for me to just talk basketball, this is easy for me. This is just a walk in the park. It's just I wish they would bring hand checking back. Then you can find out who really knows how to play basketball. But that's another story. That's another story.
I know. I didn't even. I just was fresh off of Willie's. I was on Willie's podcast because I had to. I honestly, I had been asked to go on his show for about a year, and I just it didn't happen. Like my dad was, and all that stuff, and I just didn't find the time. And then the times were all always off because every time he wanted me to come on a show, my son was getting out of school and it just was never the right time. And then all of a sudden this happened. I was like, yep, let's do it. So I was just perfect with the Raiders. And then I was like, when me and Jordan were planning this, and I was like, oh shit, I have to do Willie's show. So then I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to put it in somehow. And then, and I was like, who else wants to come on? So this is off the cuff too. I did not look up any stats. I went on, I'm like sitting there going, okay, who are they playing tomorrow? But then I remembered listening to the press conference. I was like, oh yeah, they're playing Detroit tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I just watched the game last night after what happened with Hamlin. And I was like, oh my God, it was like a sort of good distraction, but not really. I mean, because all I've been doing since yesterday, since after the game last night, I went back to the Hamlin stuff and then, learning, listening, trying to figure out, watching everything I could, reading the Skip Bayless stuff. This morning, I didn't sleep last night, waking up this morning, turning on anything I could find on any information, like all morning long, and then crying again, But yeah, I didn't, this is off the cuff too, and I love basketball as much as you guys. So yeah, I mean, I want to do at least one NBA a week, and I've got nothing else to do with my life. So as many podcasts as we can do on anything, even baseball. When that starts back, I just didn't do anything Giants over the summer because I was, yeah, I was so disappointed with my Giants.
I saw you hitting in the cage.
Listen, that was the first sport
to you.
That's the first sport I ever played.
Really?
First sport I ever played was baseball.
I couldn't hit a beach ball in the ocean. I'm serious, man. I can play. I can throw. Oh, I can throw, but hitting a baseball? Oh no.
So funny enough,
I got you, Wise. Yes, sir. But anytime. I'm an OG collector.
Ooh,
I can do that.
Okay. Wait a minute. We got to do this. Oh, this will be good for our first NBA show. So, top 5 players right now in the league. I love doing this. I did this like a year ago on another when I was working for, I'll say it because you know what? He probably blocked me. Andre Nicotina. Okay. Anyway, he's a Bay Area rapper. Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. So, okay. Let me put this up here. I'll go first.
Far away.
Currently playing, right not on injured reserve.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, currently playing? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Who actually isn't hurt.
Figure this out.
What, right. Should we do both? Should we do? Wait. Should we? Okay, top 5 players right now in the league. Okay, because then I'll just go Steph, number 1. Okay. All right. So just in the league, period. Steph. Okay. I have to go Ja Morant. Giannis. That's 3.
Because there's some hoopers right now.
5? I think I can do this. I got it.
Okay. Kevin Durant.
Absolutely.
My God, I don't know.
I can tell you right now, Kevin Durant is on my list. Period.
Isn't it
My
crazy to
favorite player right now.
Isn't it crazy to say or think that he kind of snuck back up into like people's top 5 for this year, like as of late since they've been on that big winning streak?
Hey,
Like,
All
Durant has
right.
always
crazy to
been.
say.
He's special. He's just special.
I don't know if I should include this guy because I can't stand him, but I might have to include him. Jokic. God, I hate him.
Wrong.
Whoa. Time out. What do you hate about Jokic? Let me ask that.
That's a
Because he
good question.
doesn't talk. He
He
doesn't.
wins everything.
Oh, that might
Why?
be the first time I've heard that about
Why?
Jokic. That's funny.
Why is I think we have arguably the same people because I think I had everybody. The only person I could
I
flip,
swapped Jaw for Luca. That's why.
I got you. I'll go Steph, Luca, Tatum,
Yeah.
Giannis,
And that'd be with
Joker.
KD, right?
Oh.
Oh, KD, yeah, I said KD, yeah, KD.
Okay. Whoo, this is a hard one because those might. Rod, you and Wise might have mine too because it's hard though. I'm like, well, how far out is Donovan Mitchell from that? The way, like, because not even just last night putting up 71,
Right.
but he's been doing this all year.
Right.
So that's a hard one. I mean, where's Embiid? How far is Embiid off? I mean, like, you have some hoopers right now. But yeah, I think I'd go Steph, Jokic, Giannis, those for sure. I'd have to go Luca. I mean, he could, like I said, Luca, he controls everything on the offensive end. And then, man, Celtics fans ain't gonna like me. But yeah, I got to go KD. I have to. And again, especially because of this last 2-week stretch.
Mm-hmm.
While the Nets have been doing this, the Celtics have kind of wavered and tailed a little bit.
And I hate Luca too, so that's why I put Jaw in.
Wait. Not Luca.
Nothing personal. He just gets every accolade ever. Nothing personal.
I mean, I'll say the one thing I don't like, and it's not even just a Luca thing. This is a lot of these young guys that haven't. When I say won anything, I mean it on like a team level, not individually. They cry so much. Like even
Yes, sir.
last night, I'm watching the game again. I'm a Hawks fan, and there were a couple of possessions down the stretch of that game where Trae Young just played for a foul and didn't get the call. Instead of going back on defense to do anything, he's in the back complaining to the ref. The Warriors get a transition bucket.
Right.
And I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, and again, like Trae is a great player. You know, I love Trae. I love what he's like brought expectations back to the Hawks, which we haven't had in a long time. But you can't do that, especially as if you're supposedly the leader of that team. You can't do it.
Wise. I almost put Embiid in. He was who I was putting in, and then I had to give it to Joker because I felt it was
coin
only
toss.
right. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm putting Embiid.
There
Fuck
it is.
that.
There it
But
is.
you can't. You're actually not wrong with either or. Because
Hey,
I mean,
then put in Embiid.
coin toss. Yeah, that's a coin toss. You can go either or. That's nothing
All right,
wrong with that.
Embiid. Because fuck that. Embiid, KD, Steph, Ja, and who else did I say? Embiid, Ja,
Did you have Luka?
KD, Steph, and Ja. Wait,
And John,
huh?
there you go. I think that's it.
Okay.
I'll take Luka over Ja right now. The
Yeah.
only reason why I'll take Luka over Ja is because Ja, he's a talent, but he also has to stay healthy. You know, that's the part that because you're so good, you also have to worry about your ankles. You know what I mean? Like your ankles are almost borderline, almost borderline, couple years of step, first couple years of Steph. You know what I'm saying? Because Memphis as a team talks as if they are they are a dynasty of champions, but
Right.
they're really a dynasty of just
They
talk,
said it.
you know?
They
And
said
I'm
it.
Yeah,
like,
they're tripping.
it's wild the way they
Ooh.
talk.
Is oh Lord, who
Oh.
is? Don't say Desmond Bain. I mean, he's good.
Oh. Am I about to pull a Stephen A and just walk off the set?
Whoa.
Who? Jaron Jackson Jr.
Oh, please say Steven Adams. I won't. Please say Steven Adams. I just want to see it because I love Steve. I do.
Jaron Jackson
Oh,
Jr., Desmond Bain, not Dylan Brooks.
I just want to know who it is.
Jaron Jackson.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
I mean, he's good, but
I can't put him in there because he can't stay on the floor.
you're
There we
wrong,
go.
Wise.
Oh,
Or that's just my opinion.
Like he has potential to be so good, but he cannot.
that's what I was about to say.
Cannot stay out of foul trouble.
Right.
I just wanted to go to this real quick because this was hilarious. You know who also said that was Montrezl Harrell. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he said bitch
Well, yeah.
boy. And then remember Ernie repeated it, and I always loved that clip. He goes, bitch ass white boy.
Ernie
And I played that.
it was just like it was perfect.
I know. I played it over and over for my son, and he goes, okay, how many times are you gonna play that? And I go, I don't know, I just think it's hilarious.
Right.
And he's like, stop.
And to answer your question, Wise, yeah, I'm down to do a show. Not a problem. I talk sneakers. That's easy. Do that in my sleep as well. But
Ooh, I'll be in the chat.
oh yeah, I can do that too. Look at the record without Ja last year. They didn't miss a beat. I mean, but Ja was hurt in the playoffs when they, playing the Warriors. I think that would have been, or possibly, I'm not going to say the outcome, but I feel like that would have been a different outcome had he been healthy. Do I think the Warriors win it all out? I don't know. Because the way that they were playing at that time, while Ja was, fresh and healthy, he was giving y'all the business, playoff time. It was kind of a blessing that he did get hurt. So that's something. I don't know. That's a good one.
Will say that was the one matchup I was most afraid of was the Grizzlies. I wasn't with the Mavs. And I'm not taking anything away from Luka. Because I know Luka is the whole team. He the whole team. And still is. He needs more help. I mean, Dinwiddie wasn't gonna he's good, yes, but I knew he wasn't gonna be like the major contributor. I knew that it had to come from Brunson. But honestly, the Grizzlies, I was like, they've got so many fucking weapons, and especially knowing, like what I said, what they did without Ja during that period of time when he was injured. But yeah, I was definitely afraid. I was like, we're gonna be like eliminated.
No, I knew it was going to be a fun series because I think, again, the same thing that we talked about the Warriors on defense, the Grizzlies have a lot of guys you can say that for too. Again, we know he's an agitator, but Dylan Brooks is going to try to get up on you. Bane, he's got shorter arms, but again, a bigger, longer body. They can go Zaire Williams off the bench, who was long, kind of understanding his role. But obviously the big part of it was, it was all about what Ja was going to do. And then if Jaren Jackson Jr., again, could stay on the floor. Because he couldn't miss from three early on in that series. Jaren Jackson Jr. couldn't miss. But once you got him in foul trouble, you can't shoot threes on the bench.
Right.
Who would be a good I feel like you have to build a team around Luka the same way you're supposed to build one around LeBron. And I think that's exactly what he's saying with this answer. He has to have shooters because everyone gravitates to Luka. He's going to pound out the ball, have somebody ready to spot up and knock it down.
Luka could you imagine? This is just hypothetical, and this would never happen. But Luka with Shaq would be scary.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Yeah, think about that one. Luka passing to Shaq. That would be scary.
And then you still have a shooter somewhere out there too.
Exactly.
Luka and
That's why I'm like,
Doncic. I mean, Luka and Doncic. Luka and Jokic.
So you have 2 Lukas out there. That would be
right,
something.
2
to see.
Lukas.
Right?
Yeah, that would
You
be
would play
scary too.
no defense. But I tell you what, you might put up 180 a game.
Luka and me
And-
Doncic.
right, right.
Luka and Joker. Yeah, that would be fucking scary.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
wishful thinking.
Yeah, no, we'll keep Clay. But you know, with all these fucking contracts coming up and everything, you can't. I mean, who not can afford Clay? Yeah, I don't even want to know what that's gonna look like. Draymond, they keep saying Draymond's gonna leave. I don't even want to think about that right now.
That's the crazy part about this year. It's as like you say, I don't want to think about it either. This is what my 4th year in Warriors fandom since they pay me. I like being around a team with expectations. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, I
Absolutely.
grew up in Atlanta for the most part. Like I think the 3 biggest moments I had as a Hawks fan was 2007, Highlight Factory days. 2007, we took the Celtics to 7. Before that was the year they won the championship. And then of course, Gobert's trash. So that's the answer for that. And then of course it's the year we won the 60 games, where everyone's like, okay,
got swept by Cleveland.
Got swept by Cleveland again.
Yeah, I remember that. See how quick I knew that off my head. Like I know that year.
Well, usually for the most part, that was a story for the Hawks. Since we got swept by Cleveland. Like you never.
That's when LeBron was running the East.
Yes.
I remember that.
And then of course their Eastern Conference Finals run was that 2 years ago. Those would be my top 3. But again, no finals involved, just conference finals.
Man, that city was so lit.
I was out here losing my mind. Losing my mind. We were in for some of the Sixers series, some of my friends and we were in Mexico. So we had to get league pass to watch it. And I mean, every game, blasting the volume full. We're yelling. I was waiting for the hotel phone to ring from the front. You have a noise complaint. It's like, all right, well, it's the 4th quarter, game 6 right now. They're just gonna have to deal with it, and I'll turn everything.
Deal with that. Absolutely.
That was.
You can come in and watch it with me. Come on,
and then throw me.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. I'm just letting you know it's not. We're not gonna lower the tone.
Yeah.
Keeping a tab. You got to get. First of all, next year, Iguodala's gone. Like,
yeah.
That you can't be Udonis Haslem anymore for you guys. Like, give that spot up. Stop. Just be like, this is the thing that I don't like about that. Udonis Haslem, Iguodala.
Yeah.
Like, people always talk about, you got to have that veteran leadership on the bench and, yada, yada, yada. Why don't you put these guys on the coaches? Yeah, exactly. Like, why don't you make them part of the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Why do they have to fill up a roster spot? You can pay them whatever you want. You think that they're going to say no to having a job doing that? Come on, man. They don't have to sit up there and actually run up and down the court.
I also heard it's because having that schedule is like being an NBA player anyway.
True. But they don't have to, it's no wear and tear on your body like it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to take the bumps and bruises anymore. Yes, you will travel, but you're not, now you're mental. You know what I'm saying? You're actually helping the next man up. You're not playing. You're just taking up space. Udonis Haslem has been ripping off the NBA for the last 8 years. Like, let's keep it real.
I know. And then he took the court. He took the court like a week ago.
Somebody tried to throw him a lob one game, and I have not stopped laughing at that.
Me too.
Don't get me wrong. I love Udonis Haslem because
he was on Shaq and a Fool.
Yes, and like that's the thing because I knew Udonis Haslem back from the young, like back when D Wade and Shaq were together. since I was the biggest Shaq fan in the world.
We're the same age.
Like,
I played against him at a tournament in high school. I know him. That's what I'm like, dude.
Rod's
we're
like,
the
here's a picture of
same
me and him like
age.
this.
Yeah, like, dude, we're the same fucking age. Dude.
Here's us at the
Sit your
cookout.
old ass down. Right. Hey, it's nothing wrong with you can stay in shape. You can stay in shape, but come park a seat next to me, man. It's over. It's over. Wrap it up. Let these young guys have it. You know, I understand what some of these guys talk about when it says, you know, you want that veteran leadership on it. But come on, man. Come on. Stop stealing money. Stop it.
Hey, did you guys hear that rumor that about talking about the paying Draymond's contract or not paying his contract, that it was someone within the Warriors organization that may have leaked that video of?
I think it would have had to be.
I mean, because
it was a camera in the practice facility, so I don't know who else would have access to it.
Yeah, because someone, maybe they don't want to pay Draymond. That was why.
All I know is Wise said it had to have a droid. This is an iPhone, so don't look at me.
See, you can really get your answer to right. You can really get your answer because, like any and everything that's going around us, there's always a camera. So who was in that office? See, there you can find out who really did it. It's just a mere fact of, do you want to actually talk about it?
That's true.
Wise.
Now, and then you also got to think too, did they handle that behind closed doors like they said and actually get rid of the person? We just don't know it.
Right. Yeah, because I thought it would be like
first before anybody. No, not saying you would. Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
Jordan, we want answers.
So do I. Listen, I'm not Sway, okay? I'm not Sway. I don't have the answers.
Jordan, keep that check coming, man. Keep that check coming.
Yeah. You see what broadcasters get paid on the lower level? I have to.
Keep that check coming. I don't care how they look at it. Hell, it could have been KD's burner phone or something up there.
Right.
You know, hey.
Oh shit.
Wow. Certain things you just got to look at it and just be like, how did this leak? And how did this happen? And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you guys know.
It's like you said, it's in the definition of the word leak itself. Leak means somebody from inside had to get it out.
Yep.
That's a leak. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Like, come on, man, stop playing this role. Like, you guys don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We can find Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, but now we can't find out who, dropped this footage. This is crazy.
It's gonna be funny. Just one of these days, out of nowhere, Joe Lacob just for one day is gonna get a Twitter page. He's gonna tweet one video. You know what it's gonna say? Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And then just delete the Twitter and be done.
That's it. That's it. Deactivate his account. He's gone.
That's it.
And then he'll be right on in the sunset.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
That would be hilarious.
Right. No, this has been great. Unfortunately,
I know.
Cut it off for me. But no, everyone who's watching, first, Gina, again, appreciate you as always having me on. Rod, appreciate
we're co-hosts. This is our show.
Still, I'm always grateful. So
that's the Georgia boy,
it is. But no, I mean, obviously, I hope everyone keeps praying and putting good thoughts out there for DeMar Hamlin and his family. All the players that were out there, T. Higgins included. I don't even know what's going on in his mind right now. I hope he doesn't feel guilty. Because I was thinking about. I was actually talking to my mom about this. There was a game we were in. I was in middle school, I think 7th grade. And one of my teammates, after a collision, he went down and just he didn't get up. And obviously, if you've been around football or any sport, you've seen ambulances come on the field and stuff like that. And But no, they flew a helicopter now onto the field, and at that point, you have no idea what's going on. We're all still teenagers, so we're worried, we're crying, we're scared. You look at some of the adults; they're worried. We canceled. And obviously, the game was done after that, and we went to the hospital where he was, and thankfully, he ended up being okay. But for the first time, I felt like I saw a moment that made me think of that and how I felt before I knew he was okay. And that's what it took me with. And I've been thinking about that a lot, ever since I heard about what happened and seeing it and everything. So, no, he's in my prayers, his teammates, anyone who knows him, loved ones, people around the league. You do know him, don't know him. Hopefully that he will continue to improve and he's going to be okay.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to him. Hey, everybody, whole Buffalo organization, Cincinnati Bengals as well, and the NFLPA, for all their help and everything like that they did. Big prayers up to them. Oh, one more thing, because this is basketball related.
Oh.
This person today tried to save their job by bringing up that they're now a LeBron fan.
I know where this is going. Oh, Lord.
It's on my timeline. It's funny how somebody reaches for, what is it? For desperate measures in desperate times. And now, all of a sudden, after all these years, now they're a LeBron fan.
I know where it's going. Gina, you know who it is.
Come on, Gina. It is that person.
We were talking about him last night.
Come on. It's that person.
What, Willie?
No.
They
had a TV show on
TV show.
Shannon Sharp.
Oh, you mean Skip Bayless?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he's always been a. Wait a minute.
He's built his whole career.
He's built his whole career.
My bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's right. He fucking. Okay. I was like, I've been losing it. Yes. That's right. He's a Tom Brady fanboy. My bad. I got them mixed up.
Yeah, that's right.
Because ESPN, I know that he's Fox, but ESPN's always either pro LeBron or pro Tom Brady. Okay, yeah. He's a Tom Brady fanboy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, that's what I was
saying.
What did he post?
So Shannon didn't show up to work today. Shannon didn't show up.
Right. Yeah.
And so yeah, Rod, you'd have to correct me on this, but he was saying, like because he had been playing so well as of late, like he wants to see. He's a fan of it, and it's just like, really.
It was like one of the most like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's on my timeline, and I was like, no fucking way. Like,
I need to check this
you're
out.
reaching. Now you're reaching. It's no way possible. Now all of a sudden you're a LeBron fan. Out of nowhere.
He needs to be stopped.
That's my whole point. It's just like, okay, now this is getting out of hand now, man. This is getting way out of hand. So now I just we both all three of us agreed on it. It's ultimately, his choice, but I really wish Shannon would think about something that even one of his great friends, Deion Sanders, said. Your platform and your words hold weight. Like, I don't think he truly knows how much power he has now. And I think that, like you guys both have been saying, he doesn't need Skip anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't need him in the first place, but he really now doesn't need Skip anymore. And it's like, hey, open up Shay Shay's room or whatever it's called. Club Shay and roll with that and go from there. Or somebody's gonna give him a show. They'll give him a spinoff. He can have his own show or another host. Him and Joy Taylor.
You know what I'd love to see?
Hi, Joy Taylor.
Hi, Joy.
Yeah. Ooh, man.
Hi, Joy.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah,
I love Joy.
Yeah, no, this is
But
last thing for me, but this is what I would love to see. You know how on First Take now they rotate hosts, right? Like obviously you have Stephen A for the most part and Molly, but then you'll be, Marcus Spears comes in, Ryan Clark comes in, Matt Russo, all these guys. Have something like that with Shannon. I mean, the thing that I think that's been so cool for me, seeing with him is his growth with the Club Shay Shay podcast. You see how just natural and authentic that feels in the conversations that they have. That's what I'd love to see. And let him do that, because I mean already, because the last one I've seen, because I know he put one out with Waka Flocka recently. Yeah, but the one I saw with Dion, yeah, that was the coolest, just laid back, cracking jokes type of conversation I've seen, on that type of published level in a while.
And nobody can tell him what to do.
Can't.
It's his platform.
And also no one's going to talk down on him saying that you just jealous of somebody for being honest about him. But that's neither here nor there either.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm like Jordan, man. I mean, it's up to you guys, but I'm good.
Yeah, I was following him on Twitter and I unfollowed this morning because I just can't take it anymore. Can't take it anymore.
I'm with you.
Oh, I stopped following him a long time ago.
There's so many things I want to watch on the show just because I love watching Shannon, and then I
absolutely, me too.
Right, yeah.
And now all I do now, I don't even watch the show. I just watch clips on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I
do. I watch. Same. I only watch clips. Same.
Yeah. Everybody hit that like button.
Yes.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. We truly appreciate y'all. Yes, I showed up late. Every Black person shows up late to something at one time in their life. I showed up late. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to my two co-hosts tonight, Gina and Jordan. Look for them to continue on doing this. I'm gonna jump on from time to time. Just be on the lookout. We're going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are. And shout out to Dan the Man and Book, who didn't show up. No, just playing. But we will have them back on. I don't know. I'm just playing. Maybe. But yeah, we are going to have more of these.
With Jordan.
So if you love NBA, Jordan and I and Rod and whoever wants to join us in the GinaReppinDaBay Productions YouTube channel, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey, what's up? That's my girl Jane. What's up, Latinas too? Great show. Love me some little G.
Appreciate
you. I love you so much. That's my girl from high school. I love you. She was my big sis. She was a senior when I was a freshman. Yes, we are that old. No, I'm just kidding. But I love you.
Dang, she put you out there, Cookie.
I know, my bad. Hey, and we were in the school play together. That's how I really got to know her. And we also worked together. Yes, we worked at the city attorney's office. So
Cookie, she telling your whole business. Tell her quit dry snitching on you.
Right.
Tell her to keep some of that stuff. Hey, G14 classified. Everybody don't need to know that.
I'm just so proud to know
Cookie.
her.
Appreciate you.
I'm just so proud to know her. All right. Thank you guys so much. And watch this cool little outro I did. It's for the NBA. Bam.
Let's do it.
Love you guys.
Much love.
Y'all.